Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. We'll never die. Welcome to the podcast, folks. Trevor, you want to do the intro?
Sure.
Do it.
Welcome to episode 57 of Two Lonely Boys in a Canoe. I'm Trevor Ahlstrom. And apparently I am now Gravel Shits.
I stole the name. I am Gorgeous George.
Well, I have the cooler superpower. If we're ever stuck in an island, you being handsome is not going to be useful. As me shitty an island we can recoup on and figure our next move in life.
Unless there's a boat with a bunch of hot chicks, and then I can wave to them and be like, me and my friend here, we're hoping to get rescued off of the shitty island.
Yeah, but what if it's a bunch of gay dudes that you have to sell yourself to get off the island?
I can still use my good looks, Trevor. I just won't do any hand stuff. I just won't do a lot of hand stuff.
Just a lot of foot jobs.
Just a lot of mouth stuff.
Mouth and feet?
Mouth and feet. That's what all the gay guys want. Mouth and feet.
That's a funny name right there. Mouth and feet.
The old mouth and foot.
Mouth and foot.
Open mouth, insert foot.
And maybe open mouth and insert something that's not a foot.
No, all right, I recant. I can't do this. That's the hardest part. If you imagine, like, if you were in a gay situation and somebody's like, you gotta suck this dick. I'd be like, I don't know if I could do it, man. I don't want to.
You're in a gay situation. And you're in a real dire...
We're definitely not cranking it up to 11, bud.
and you're pondering castration.
It's like you got a gun to your head. They're like, suck this dick or die. And you're like, I don't want to do either. I love that from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes.
Yeah. He's
yes.
like, start sucking, Gaylord. And he's like, he's your buddy. And he takes his pants down. And he's like, oh my God, it's so big and black. He's like, good for you, man. He's like, I know. And he tries to, and they both pass out. Or he passes out on top of him. So funny. He wakes up and he's got soap all over his face like cum. He's like, hey, buddy. He's like, oh my God.
No, I've seen it.
Shout out Hot Tub Time Machine. That was one of the funniest movies.
The black actor, he was in The Office, and he fucking...
Craig Ferguson? No.
Craig something.
It's Craig.
It's Craig something. It's Craig Ferguson or something, but...
Something like that.
I've seen him in other stuff.
Actor. He was in Eastbound and Down. He was in Pineapple Express.
He's also in the Pizza Hut commercials now.
Yeah, he's doing Pizza Hut ads.
He's fucking awesome. I
saw
a movie
great
where...
actor.
Yeah.
He was also in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. He was the blues player who beat up his landlord while having laryngitis, so his hands and his throat were fucked. He's like, well, that's what you get for punching your landlord while you had the laryngitis. He's like, ah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But Craig Robinson.
Yeah, Craig Robinson. He's a good actor.
He is awesome. Yeah.
So anyways, we're starting to assist.
This is going to be
a good episode.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. I think we've had a good couple days to rest.
Do a few chores and that.
It's cool because I recently had my days off switch. So now me and Trevor have the same days off, Saturday and Sunday, like normal. And I haven't had that in like 9 months almost, because that was my old schedule at the old job. But I had Mondays and Tuesdays for a while, and then Wednesdays and Thursdays. And so I'm actually pretty excited to have Saturdays, Sundays again. It's nice. The only thing I'm not excited about is we're right next to the party house, and every Saturday at like 4:30, 4 o'clock, these motherfuckers start up with the shittiest pop and rock music.
What are you talking about? They play a few good songs it's just the boys.
Yeah, when it's just early morning, the boys are cleaning up or getting ready for a party. They're playing like Van Halen, playing AC/DC.
Yeah, they're playing Led Zeppelin.
Blue Oyster Cult.
I've even heard like a couple of. There was once I heard like System of a Down. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
So they do play cool stuff when it's just the guys in the mornings. But towards the afternoon, girls start getting there.
The music quality goes down.
Yeah, the music quality starts.
Ladies, fight us if you don't agree. But
it's like a team of 20 chicks show up, and we're like, Trevor, back to back. We're about to have to kill these broads.
We got weapons on the corner.
Oh, that's a great one. How many women do you think it'll take?
Weapons or no weapons? Do they have weapons?
Okay. Let's start.
There's stipulations.
Let's start with weapons, and then we'll work our way to no weapons.
Also, how sober are we?
Okay, so let's say
there's factors here.
All right. So we say something offensive on the podcast. on a Tuesday morning before we even go to work. We're waking up kind of fresh, kind of
Because
tired.
we both wake up around like 5:45.
But at 7 a.m., there's
I'm already out the door.
There's a group of, okay, let's say 6:50. There's a
right
group.
before I'm leaving.
Yeah, of women outside of our window with picket signs and protesting, maybe like 50 people. So how many of them, if me and you were teamed up back to back, fucking Shaolin style?
Well, if they're right out the window, I'm going to immediately drop boiling water on their faces, and I'm going to go fucking medieval on their ass.
We're gonna start throwing stuff down.
If
Grab
they're
that,
right
grab
there,
that vacuum. God. We start pushing the fridge towards the window.
I haven't dropped my dirty socks. My socks are terrible smelling.
That is pretty smart to start dropping
Yes.
hot boiling water.
Dude, I'm going to go fucking
So let's
siege
say-
castle on their ass.
So let's say
This is like France 1300s.
So
let's go.
let's say that something happens where we're both locked out. So we're out on the streets with just our basics, whatever you leave the house with. So whatever you leave the house with, and you come home, or let's say you start your day, because I don't want to put us after work, because that'll put us at a big disadvantage.
You'll be tired.
Yeah. So let's say you start your day, and we're both leaving, but before we can leave, there's like a fucking group of chicks that accost us.
I'd say if you and I went full at it,
I think
probably 3 to 4 each.
Well, I think it would take, because I feel like the first few will be givens. You know, the first like 5 chicks will probably be knocked out for each of us. I'm saying 10 girls out. You're cold.
We both know how to fight, so yeah.
Yeah, but then you start to get fatigued and you get scratched and you
Eventually,
get bit and shit.
eventually they'll overwhelm us.
Yeah,
of
so
course.
how many do you think me and you back to back Shaolin style? You go down, you pick me up. I go down, you pick me up. You know, we could probably knock out like 25 to 30 women, possibly.
It's a little high. I'd say 20.
I'd give us.
I'd say 20.
Well, it depends on, because if
It
you
also depends on the women.
exactly,
If there's a bunch of women that are trained, it's going to be way harder.
of course. But this is
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Usually, the women that protest and stuff are like real hard left, and they're going to be college women and
They're
stuff.
not super trained
No.
in fighting. Maybe
So-
a little
so
bit.
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe they went to a self-defense
class, scratch and bite, you know.
Yeah.
But
spray and call the cops.
I know this for a fact. When you see somebody get knocked out cold, it'll slow everybody down a little bit.
I've been in
the
a group
first
where
few
someone gets
chicks
knocked
that
out,
just
yeah.
get eaten.
They're going to think about it.
They're gonna back up a little
They're
bit,
gonna
so
back
they're gonna
up.
start trying to come up with strategies, 2 at a time or something, and then that's when we'll have to get each other's backs.
That actually ties into my thing about when.
Long story short, this would never happen, folks. But if it did, we would fuck up a few women.
But if they decided to just make passionate love with us instead and give us some.
Make love, not war.
Yep, and then give us some really good like hot dishes and dessert bars. Okay.
So no weapons. I'm saying 20 to 30 possibly.
Maybe.
Because
That is a little high.
Well, I don't think so, because I think by the first 10 each, then that's when we'll really be gassed. That's when we'll really be struggling.
By the way, folks, we are both large men that work physical jobs.
Yeah, because I think for the first 10 minutes will be good. And then after the first 10 minutes, probably 1 or 2 a minute, we'll start to gas.
Worn up.
We'll start to gas.
Get worn up. And then we'll meet that chick that is super badass.
Yeah, you meet the
eventually.
Samoan chick that's 300 pounds, and she's like, "What's wrong with you?"
And
you're like,
she's actually trained, and you eventually will meet the chick. You're like, all right, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. Ah.
I'm like, Trevor, kneel down. You're like, what? I'm like, kneel down. I just step on your back and do like a flying fucking fist down into her face. Ah! Chris, what are you doing? And it's like, I took that Samoan bitch out. Okay, so now let's put it as with weapons. You get the choice of a weapon or two. And let's say they have light weapons, not anything ridiculous. Maybe sticks and rocks, or maybe a blade or two.
What weapon do we get to have?
You can have any weapon you want besides a gun.
Okay, that's fine.
And let's make it realistic. Let's keep it within the things that we have. You know what I mean? Because we do have a machete, and we do have an aluminum baseball bat.
We have a nightstick.
We got a couple of sticks.
We have a nightstick that's called a tire pressure thumper officially.
It's called a human convincer.
It's called
It's a human convincer.
So folks, I have this thing that's like almost 2 feet long.
Here, let's grab it to describe it.
Oh no, this old friend of mine got it for me at a gas station in Portland.
It's a whomping stick.
And he got it for $10. He got
It's a
this shit.
whomping stick.
He literally
Road Pro.
He got it like a basic Flying J, like gas station where trucks and cars would stop at. And it literally, in the car section, I saw him grab it. It said tire pressure thumper. And
Yep.
I have seen people do it. It's like when you're checking your tires, you either kick it with your shoes, but if you don't have boots on,
Yeah.
you'll do this and it has a good bounce. All right, the tires are inflated
pressurized
properly. Yeah.
Yeah. The cool thing about the stick, I feel like, is it has a finish on it. It's pretty nice finish.
It's obviously
it has
all
a
the way.
grip handle, so it has a bunch of board-in parts where you can actually keep a grip on it, and it's light but dense. So
And
I
also
feel
it
like
has a metal bolt that
it has
goes
a
through
cap.
as a cap.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is a bolt that runs all the way through.
There's possibly a piece or so.
Yeah.
But
And there's a nice little
it's
paracord handle. for you to grab.
practically a nightstick. It's practically a nightstick.
You
that's,
could use
that's
it.
wooden.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
literally use a nightstick.
So let's say with these things, I'm gonna go with my classic Hammer and hatchet, hatchet and
Already know.
hammer.
No, I love both those tools.
Those are my go-tos. I keep
Both
them in my
good.
truck constantly, and the axe or the hatchet probably just needs to be sharpened lately. That's probably it.
I'll sharpen it again.
Yeah,
I used both those things, folks. When I went camping last week, I used the hammer and the hatchet.
they worked great.
It worked great.
They are great in a pinch if you ever get caught having to defend yourself. That's for sure.
And they're good for everyday practical purposes too.
If you're a
Besides
man
snowboard.
worth half of your salt, you can use a hammer or a hatchet to do
multiple things.
most basic stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So my pick, then, you're doing the hammer and hatchet. Mine's probably going to be
The machete, bro. I would
Machete?
go with the machete.
because the machete.
Once you start slicing off limbs, these chicks are taking a few steps back.
Also, I have a lot of practice cutting brush. I spent a lot of my time growing up dealing with
Yeah.
a lot of thick brush.
Yeah.
So if you see me with an axe or a machete, I can chop through some shit.
So back
machete,
to back, me and you, machete, and
probably machete, and I would want something a little bit longer, maybe.
But I think the issue that you get when you start trying to add more weaponry, like you have to stick
Shovel.
well, you have to stick to something that you can wield easily. You know what I mean?
Shovel's a little big.
Exactly, a little long, and somebody could grip it.
Machete and a nightstick.
The nightstick, I think, would work well if you were in a smaller group. I think the machete would be perfect because it's a larger group.
But you said 2 weapons for each, so I'm picking the
Well,
same
well,
one.
one weapon, but
You said hammer and hatchet.
I guess that is two.
You said 2.
But do you think that'd be easy to wield? A machete in one hand and then a nightstick in the other?
Like you, I'm a big man with. I can do it.
Okay, yeah. No, dude, I think it would work well. I think the machete you get better control of.
Yes.
Two-handed. You know what I mean?
Obviously.
So you can.
But like you, I'm a big enough guy. I grew up having to use tools with one hand, so I
guess I get afraid of somebody snatching the machete
Well, then I have the nightstick.
to bonk them.
bonk 'em.
bonk.
Oh, you
Give
cut-
me my machete back. Ah.
Oh, you got my jab? Well, here's my cross real
Yeah.
quick. Boom. But yeah,
Well, the attack I love about the hatchet and the hammer is the stunner and the hatchet's the follow up. So it's literally 1 2 1 2 1 2, and it's pretty effective because once you get a hatchet to the skull or to the face or the neck,
it's usually game over.
you're not fighting too hard after
Just
that.
like a machete, it's usually game over.
Yeah, and that's what I think.
Hatchet machete, like you're dead or your limbs are doing, or your body's just taking some serious damage.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So what's the number that you think with weapons? I'm talking 20 apiece, maybe 40 to 45.
We should move to something else. We're just
Trevor, we're just talking about going Shaolin monk on these chicks.
I know. You started it in your fucking Wu-Tang
Shaolin Wu-Tang style. His Wu-Tang is very powerful.
Check out his Wu-Tang sword style.
Check out his Wu-Tang. I came to bring the pain.
I bring the motherfucking ruckus.
I came to bring it hardcore.
So anyways,
I love
folks,
this subject though, man. This is the best. Me and you going back to back fucking Trevor, it's been nice serving with you. You know?
Like you, if I have to go crazy, I will go crazy. It is, and also like you, if I have to fight dirty, I'm grabbing dirt on the ground. Like if I see a bunch of loose sediment, I'm gonna scratch it to distract people. Like I will use distraction.
I'm a funny dude because I fight with honor up until I'm losing. And then once I'm losing, I'm like, all right, all that honor shit's out the window. Dirt in the eyes. You know?
That's your survival instinct.
Yeah, for sure. That happens with my brothers a couple times. They're beating my ass, and I was just like, what's that over there? And you just flip them over.
I had some people at school I'd do that too.
So,
anyways,
folks, come at us weird. Come at us weird.
Moving on.
Trevor's like, we gotta get off of
We
this
do
subject.
have other subjects. It's a funny subject. It's funny, but we have other things.
Trevor's like, move on, Chris. Stop talking about beating people up.
Also, I'm supposed to call Angelo.
Yes, call Delo. We're trying to get Angelo De Jesus on the podcast again.
He is fucking hilarious.
He is a hilarious dude. I'm gonna grab a bowl so that we can hear him better.
I also like that he accepted me so much. Like, he calls me brother all the time, and like,
Dude, Angelo's an awesome person.
yeah. So I appreciate him accepting me. I can tell he really does like me. I'm like, all right, I appreciate it.
Oh, Trevor has the feeling like we all do to be liked. I love that one day, if this podcast ever does get big enough, we're not going to have bowls to loudspeaker our calls.
I do like it, though.
It is pretty funny.
I mean, if it works, man.
Oh, man, I was so happy last week when that
Hey, what's up, man?
loudspeaker.
Hey,
Tell him he's on the podcast.
are you free to be on the podcast for a bit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm putting you in a plastic Tupperware bowl that Chris grabbed.
Angelo, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome.
So, it's already been a good one. We talked about having to fight hordes of women trying to protest us.
Angelo, you have a great idea for this one. Me and you back to back, or you and Trevor back to back. How many female protesters could you beat up?
I can tell Angelo was thinking.
So your cancel culture is coming for you, bro, and there's a group of women outside your flat that's coming.
Angelo, you being a Puerto Rican that does a really good Jerry Seinfeld impersonation offends some women. By the way, I heard his Jerry Seinfeld really good. But it drives some women crazy, and you gotta defend yourself, Angelo. What do?
You got one homie.
I'm picking Chris. We've been through it before, and I think like a fleet of females are no match for me and Chris.
I was telling him, I was like, man, probably by the first 20 or 10, we'll be really gassed. You know what I mean?
You'll get one that's really well trained. Eventually, you'll come upon.
I don't know about
You'll get the urban chick from Chicago that throws hands. You'll be like, ah, fuck.
You get the one bitch from Israel that learned Krav Maga, and you're like, oh, damn it.
I'm picking her.
They've got a ringer. I'm just gonna sit on her ass. I'm gonna sit on her face. What was the dude from WWE that used to do the face sit? Oh. Do you remember that, Angelo?
I'm trying to remember. It does sound familiar.
Shakiki or some shit. Shakiki doing that ass sit, boy.
What?
Shakiki sounds like a chick I would meet.
It was that dude from WWE, Rafiki or something.
Oh wait, no, he was a Jamaican dude.
Remember, he used to sit on people.
Yes. What are we getting, pizza or
We
something?
should move on to another subject.
Yeah, Rikishi. You talking about Rikishi?
Yeah, now he knows.
All right. Anyways,
I would like, you don't understand, if it was like a whole fleet of females versus me, it's over.
Trevor's trying to move on from this subject because we already did like 14 minutes on it, and I was
almost,
like,
yeah.
You can't do that and then bring me in. I want to do like
All right,
Angelo,
real quick,
tricks
give us an
and shit.
answer. Give us an estimate.
okay,
real
hold
quick.
on, Angelo. I got to give you two scenarios.
Yeah.
One scenario is me and you back to back, Shaolin style, and then the other one's me and you back to back with weapons.
Well, I mean, with weapons, it's going to be a higher number.
Of course, man, but where do you think it ends at with weapons? I'm thinking like 50.
No, I think 50 would be us normally fighting. Like,
I think, yeah, maybe. 50 would be pretty extensive. Bodies would be piling up on top of each other.
yeah, I mean, it's just. Do you remember we had that fight and we got jumped and we beat up like 10 guys? and held them up.
You were fighting like 4 dudes. I was fighting 2.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that alone, times that by let's
How
count
many
every dude by 10.
girls? How many young girls add up to 1 boy? Is it like 3? 3 girls equal a boy fight?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's also Hollywood people, so let's count
That's what
we fought people from Hollywood, so it's
That's what I'm saying. Like the people that would be outside protesting your whatever will be like a bunch of 20-year-olds. A bunch of like leftist type people.
Girls that aren't real rough or physically very intimidating.
Couple Antifa chicks.
literally, I could like just one punch them. Like,
It would be hilarious, man. It would be hilarious because the first 5 chicks that stepped up would just be eating fucking concrete.
that's fucked up because you're so mean.
Hey, man, that's true equality, bro. Everybody can get a fight, man. A baby could get it.
Yeah.
If everybody wants to be equal, man, they can all step up.
What's going on?
All right, Trevor, let's move on. I know this is getting old for him.
So, anyways, Chris complains about me sometimes. This fucking guy. Good subject, Chris, but too long. Anyways, so Angela, you'll find this spicy and interesting. For local news, we have here in Eugene, we have a Refugee Recovery Buddha Eye Monday meeting at the Buddha Eye Temple. So we have a temple here in Eugene, and it's for people who've been through drama. It's at 7 p.m. It's at 2190 Garfield Street. It's
Bunch of white people getting in touch with their
probably.
bellies.
So it's in the western
some battered women, huh? That's
Yes.
fucking weirdos.
Yes.
You're weird.
I'm literally looking at this from the free.
You are literally like the weirdest guy if you go over there and like, hey, what's going on? I won't beat you.
It reminds me of Fight Club, where the main character goes to like the Survivor meetings, and and he makes that friend that gives him that hug with the big man tits. Yeah,
His name is Robert Paulson.
and he meets the hot chick that smokes, the hot gothic chick that smokes.
She goes to testicular cancer.
Yes, like those are the vibes I'm getting right now.
Yeah, so you're Marla.
Yes. She's hot though.
I think
I do have a crush on that actress.
There's gotta be a fucking
I bet you do.
Marla Singer is hot as fuck. There's gotta be a group of people that go to meetings, go to like AA and NA meetings to pick up chicks. There's gotta be a group of them.
Why not? Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna get alcoholic. Why not Sex Anonymous, right? Sex and Love Anonymous.
That is a meeting I've actually mentioned on the show. There is a Sex Anonymous meeting. That is no bullshit here in Eugene. That is a thing.
Yeah, you should probably go there and tell them the truth.
I wonder if there's a whole like pretext right before they start the meeting. It's like, if you're just here to fuck, please leave. And it's like a couple of guys get up and
like,
go.
damn it, shucks, and they snap their fingers like, oh,
They got me. They got me again.
I would have gotten away for 2 as in for these leftist bitches and that weird dog over there. Like, damn it.
Well, it's also for love and relationship addiction.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I always find that interesting, especially when you have like a sex addiction. You don't realize how often you're just plowing. Like, what's a normal number for a person to have sex? Probably like a couple times a week, 3 to 5.
But if you're doing multiple times a day, every
Single, I would say, probably like once or twice a month, maybe.
Yeah, a couple times a month.
A little harder, yeah.
Yeah, but like even in a regular relationship, you're not fucking 3 to 4 times a day normally,
Because you both have to probably do things. Like
Well, some
do.
do.
Well, some
But
do.
you gotta,
But
that's what I want. Shit, line me up. Sign me up.
Angelo's number 47 in the gangbang,
More like number 69 of the gangbang.
He's like, he'll leave some for me. He's talking to number 30. Ooh, that's a great one.
Chris ain't the only one with jokes over here.
69 ticket at a gangbang.
Yeah.
So that's a great one.
Look,
What?
Hey guys, I gotta go.
All right, you're good.
All right. Thank
I
you.
love you.
See ya.
Thank you.
That was Angelo, everybody.
That was 10 minutes of hilarity. Thank you. I wish you could say, but he just moved, folks.
He just moved, so he's doing moving things.
So he moved from the University of Washington,
He's making moves
to downtown.
But
Who are apparently the rivals of our school right across from us, the Ducks and the Huskies. So where he lives, where we live, apparently our schools are bitter rivals. Not that we give a fuck. But
so
yeah.
I was gonna talk about the sneaky Asians. So this past couple
Here
days,
we go.
I love this one Chinese restaurant. It's a family-run restaurant. They make great fucking food. I go there all the time and spend a ton of money just because I love their food and the way that they do their thing. So I wanted to try something new last week, and I went and ordered barbecue duck and barbecue pork. Now, the barbecue pork was the star of it. I think that was the best meat with the red ring, because
That was fire.
If I just had a whole container of that,
I wouldn't complain.
I would be fine. So when they did put the duck on the other side, I was thinking it was going to be like some duck breast and maybe a few of the bones or whatever.
I tried some of it, by the way, and I saw what you meant immediately. Like,
it's all bones.
Yeah, it was all
So
bones.
what they did was they cut the back of the duck out, and they gave me the back vertebrae of the duck, which does have some decent meat on it. It has some savory meat, but most of it is bone. So literally, I got like a container of pork, which was good on one half, and the other half was almost all bones. And I was just like, damn, man, I feel like I just got ripped off.
Right. Chris, we're already through almost half the episode. We've covered like nothing.
It's okay, man. So, just insane in general. Some Asians are a little sneaky. I think that they kept the good parts of the duck, and they were like, stupid American, he'll never know.
Oh, American, think you so sneaky.
Damn.
You have a little bit of meat.
And it's crazy because their daughter's hot. Their daughter is just, she hot grilled me. She was like, you want some duck? And I was like, yeah, duck. I want one of them greasy ducks.
Oh, duck? I thought you meant fuck. I'm sorry. My apologies. Different word.
So the thing I bought with the duck was like $22. But I was looking at the price of a whole duck because I was just kind of curious. It's like $36.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn, why is duck so expensive? But I guess it's because they give you more than just bones. Oh.
Maybe you could jump on her bones. Oh. Anyways.
Yeah, but I wanted to eat duck because the University of Oregon's mascot is the Ducks. And I wanted to be like, fuck this town. Just eat duck because of it.
Fuck the Ducks. I give no fucks about the Oregon Ducks. But anyways. That was a song I wrote once. Anyways. Other thing. I'll do one more local news. It's Bring Your Own Game Night from 6 to 10 p.m. at the beer sign. 1591 Willamette. It's free. So yeah. And it's been cold and clear. It's been daytime temps in the 50s.
1 week since you looked at me.
2 weeks since
you heard the Bare Naked Ladies.
Or you decided to watch the show Maury. I don't know.
The Bare Naked Ladies are still slapping, man. We heard that earlier today, and fuck, man, that was a fun band for the 90s. Or for the 2000s.
Yep. But yeah. Also, it's been cold and clear. We're going to get rain again. So, winter is here. And then,
also, I got a black eye.
Oh yeah, Chris got a black eye from swinging a tool.
I was talking shit to Trevor, and he had enough of it, and he took it out on me. That's why I was hoping Dylan and Kendra would have came by tonight. I would have been like, they would have been like, "What happened, Chris?" I was been like, I don't know. I didn't talk to Trevor right. I was gonna make it a whole thing about how Trevor lost his shit, and they'd be like, "Trevor, what's wrong with you?"
So I did almost have a mental meltdown at work Wednesday, which was rough. Like there was a point I was ready to throw hands at people, and I had to take
a step away.
Yeah, this coworker handed me a spray bottle, and it wasn't screwed on, and it like spilled everyone. I nearly slipped, and I had to catch myself and cut my hand on the blade.
Ouch.
I immediately fucking threw it, and it banged against the bay door, and everyone stopped and looked, and they're like, "What's wrong?" Like, I am about to fuck people up if you don't give me a moment right now. And they're like, okay. And I'm usually very calm, get shit done, but we all have moments.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, I was working at work, and I was breaking down something, and it was really a solid piece of furniture, and I was almost done with it, but on like the last hit, the sledgehammer I was using kicked out of my hand and fucking flew back, and it popped me right under the cheek. Like, it didn't hit my eye, but it hit me right underneath the eye. So, I'm packing weed right now. But what ended up happening was I felt it immediately. I felt it immediately hit under my eye, and I knew, because I've had black eyes before. I was like, this is going to be a black eye no matter what. But it actually came out good, man. It's already healing up well. It's nice. It's just, black eyes are fun because everybody looks at you a little funnier. They're like, ooh, what happened? Is there a cool story?
Ooh, tell me when to go.
But 9 times out of 10, a black eye is just like, I was walking and I hit something. Most of the times it's not a really cool story. It's not like, I was in a Fight Club fight and I won.
Hey, you know the first rule about Fight Club, you don't have a Fight Club.
Yeah.
Dude, we've made a lot of Fight Club references today.
Yeah, because our name is Tyler Durden. Trevor doesn't realize yet that I'm a fiction of his imagination.
No, I'm a fiction of your imagination.
We've had this scenario play out a few times where one of us is Tyler Durden and the other one's just an insomniac.
You know, I
feel like it's me because I am an insomniac.
We are Fight Club.
I feel like I poop more often than I should.
Not as much as me, but yeah.
No, see, that's me. I'm the pooper. I just have you in my mind thinking I don't poop. I'm gorgeous gravel. I'm gorgeous gravel shits.
First rule about Fight Club. So we'll just call it first rule of Fight Club.
First rule about Fight Club is nobody goes to Fight Club.
Well, they should.
They should, maybe. I think the world would be a better place if you could handle your squabbles in a boxing ring.
Which sometimes
some places
that works, and that's a good thing.
It used to work a lot more often, but now that guns are so readily available and people are very hot-headed,
people will just shoot.
It's easier to shoot or stab a motherfucker than to fight a few rounds.
Or if you don't fight, like you go and like have a serious discussion, or like people need to definitely stop.
Stop the violence, man. Stop the violence.
There's too much.
There was another shooting here recently. There's another thing of news. There was a shooting at a gay nightclub in Colorado Springs.
National news right there.
There you go. But 5 people died, 18 were wounded. They ended up getting the guy eventually, and they brought him into custody. But a lot of people had to die and get injured just so that this person could make this statement that other people have already made many times over, and that they don't approve of gay or lesbianism or transgenderism or any of that stuff. You know, I think that when you hate something so much and so deeply, it's because deep down you probably understand it to a certain degree. You know?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of those people that really hate gay people. It's because they're closetedly gay and they have special feelings about men and women.
Hitler was part Jewish.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know, man. It just, there's a lot of things I don't agree with and a lot of things I don't think that are right, but it would never give me the right or the justification to go out and start murdering a bunch of people because they're different.
Yeah.
I feel like in religion that happens a lot too.
Unfortunately.
With a group of people, you just kind of all call them bad. You know, I've met some gay people that I hated, that are just fucking mean, that are just bitchy gay people, and then I met some gay people that I love, man. They're the nicest people, and you know, so I feel like it's like anything. Just you're gonna have the good and the bad of it.
Just like straight people. There's straight people and there's terrible straight people. Yeah.
You know, I think we got to realize that we're all people. We're all flawed and we're all fucked up.
We do tell bad jokes, but we're just people.
Yeah, we do. But it gives you no right to pass judgment on other people and their views. You know, nobody's better than anybody else. We all fucking bleed red. But I think when we get to realizing that we're all just poor people, you know, it'll put us on the same page. I think money is the great equalizer. There's the rich and there's the poor, and 85 to 90% of us are poor. You know,
there's different levels of that, just like there's different levels of rich.
Yep.
So yeah. Do you want to move on to world news, or you want to do another national news?
Let's do a world news.
Okay. Well, in that case, I could talk about. There's a giant species of turtle that was just discovered.
Oh yeah, Trevor was talking about this earlier, about how they had discovered the remains of a giant turtle species.
So there's a. This was off the Pyrenees, which is on the far western end of Spain. So out in the Atlantic Ocean. And for a long time, it was believed that there was only giant super turtles in like North and South America, because they had found this species called Archelon, and it was a giant turtle with a skin covered with leather-backed shell, and it was up to 14 feet long and weighed 2 tons. and it had this giant bone structure that they think allowed it to glide through the ocean really well. And they thought this was the biggest thing ever found. But then they found another one here recently. And looking up the details right now. Behemoth. Sorry, folks, looking this up. Oh, here it is.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorting through all the giant prehistoric turtles, folks. Sorry.
You know what's the coolest thing about turtles? Is that their shells are a structure that isn't detached from their body. It's not like a
But originally
shell.
they
It's
didn't
like a
have
bone.
they didn't have shells originally because they originally came. All lizards originally were just lizards, and then they went off to
They
other
were
branches.
geckos.
And then you had lizards that became big and became dinosaurs, and you had lizards that became turtles because
Lizards that became sharks.
well, there were sharks during the time of the dinosaurs too. Like sharks were around during the time of the dinosaurs. They're that old.
The megalodon.
Yeah, they were a lot bigger. But turtles, their shells are interesting because they initially didn't have them, and then they had them now, and they still lay them in eggs. I'm looking for the name, folks.
Well, I saw something.
Please forgive me.
No, it's okay. I saw something recently about turtles about how their shell is just like their back. You know, it's like their backbone.
Yep.
And you can feel everything through the shell. At least the turtles can. But it was interesting because some people think that turtles can't feel their shell. You know, it's just like their body's on the inside of it. But it's a whole structure that supports their body.
Found it.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, this thing, folks, is about the size of a rhino, and it's right up there, and it is from the late Cretaceous period, and it has a biblical name, actually. It's pretty cool. So they think this thing lived from 83.6 to 72.1 million years ago. As we know, the dinosaurs died 65 million years ago, so during the late Cretaceous, when the later period of the dinosaurs was the late Cretaceous, and is one of the biggest turtles ever to swim Europe waters, and they called it Leviathancellus enigma. So Leviathan, like the biblical giant sea monster, and Enigma because they named it that because they're still learning more about it. They just found this thing. Here's a picture of it, Chris. An artist rendering. But they did find a skeleton of it. I'll look for it eventually. But anyways, they think it might be a new group of turtles. They just found it.
So this thing basically was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
It lived in sewers. It ate pizza. It took karate classes from a giant rat.
You know, it's funny. Look at this picture. Look at that. Look at that.
They have a giant scale model of a Ninja Turtle versus an actual
I hope
turtle.
someone actually. So they have a regular human at about 5 to 6 feet. The Archon, which is the turtle I mentioned ever, the biggest ever, this is the one in the North-South Americas. This one's about 13 feet. The one they just discovered is about 10 feet. And then
Donatello is
no,
about.
this is Leonardo.
Leonardo's about
look at that
3'5".
Yeah, he has a katana, and he's about 6 feet too.
That's so funny.
But yeah, no, I love they did that. But also, fun fact: at the time of the dinosaur era, there was a huge ocean in the middle of America. People forget about this, but there was a giant ocean that divided the America right in half. You had the Appalachians on the far right side, and then you had the Sierra Mountains and everything else on the other.
Deposits were left.
Yeah. So you had, and that's why you have huge mineral and fossil deposits in the Midwest. Like you'll find, like you hear about farmers in like Nebraska finding giant nautilus.
You mean farmers
fossils.
in Minnesota? Oh,
I'm getting there.
I'm getting there.
We got 20 minutes. So anyways, giant turtle found, folks. Check it out. Look up your ancient turtles.
Trevor's mad at me because we spent too much time talking about beating up chicks.
Yeah. Christina's going to like randomly listen to this and have some words with me on the day after Thanksgiving. Like,
It's okay,
Trevor, we need to talk.
Trevor, we need to talk. You can't be beating up on protesters.
No.
I'm like, they're beating up on us.
Doesn't matter. You're white, straight male.
Fuck your safety, you white straight male. Get your ass beat. It's like, what? No.
I'm just trying to be a person. I'm trying to beat people unless I have to defend
You all want to be
myself.
equal? Here you go, equality.
So let's real quick do a movie review. Let's roll through the subject.
Yeah, so I was watching the new Blade Runner. I didn't get all the way through it, but from what I could tell, it was pretty awesome.
It's Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has Chris Pine. No, not Chris Pine. There's the dude from Where the Pines Are or something. It's another movie, but
I have
really
seen,
good.
where the cedars, where the snow falls on the cedars.
No.
No, different movie.
This is a really good actor. I forget his name. He's awesome, but he's the new Blade Runner basically, and he is hunting down.
Is the new Harrison Ford?
Yeah, he's hunting down the sentients that have kind of gotten away again. It's hard to follow because I only got through the first hour of it, and the first hour is a lot of prelude to the older movie. But basically, he's searching for a woman's murderer, and he's trying to find out where her kid is because this was a surrogate that basically had a kid, and they didn't think that was possible. Harrison Ford's in it. He's an older Harrison Ford. He comes back. It also has Batista in it, which is pretty cool.
Oh.
Yeah, he plays a character. I really liked the first hour of it. I'm going to continue to watch it. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 blades.
Or replicas.
7 out of 10
replicants.
laser guns.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. But yeah, I'm going to finish watching that. Come to the next podcast with the ending and the rest of it.
All right, so I'm gonna do my album review real quick, and it's relaxing and soothing gypsy guitar music for meditation, writing, studying. They don't tell me who the artist is; it's not available, but it's from the YouTube channel.
It's Lord.
And probably
She's from New Zealand.
Yep.
It's Lord.
And the song is not available. It's just one long track. It's background music, but I played it when I did Dungeons & Dragons last week, where we went to the far side of the world, pretty much the Americas.
You talking about that D&D, boy? I'm talking
D&D.
about double D's.
Or these nuts. So we went up this river, and I was a captain, but from the ships.
Please
for now,
allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste.
Thank you, Mick Jagger.
He was going through Vietnam
Yes.
on a river boat.
Yeah, and he's just the Stones are playing background.
Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name.
Woo, 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 woo. Anyways, so we're going riverboat, and these alligator crocodiles, these crocodigators, they swarm in.
Oh,
We have to
crocodile.
And we have to fight them off, and I end up stabbing them with scimitars, and Michael ends up using water
He
illusions.
spray paints one of them to death.
Yeah.
He just got a can of spray paint.
And Jonah's character just fucking brawls with them, and we end up fucking killing them. But then we end up going further on, and then we find like a giant, trying to get this lost city of gold, folks, like El Dorado.
El Dorado.
And one spot off the left just has a giant skull that says death. So we're like, maybe not, we can go there. So then we're going up these giant waterfalls.
So as we're passing the giant skull that says death.
Yeah. We decided to go up the waterfalls of a giant, it's like a mishmash corpse of a skinned human and like a skinned like pterodactyl, and they like fuse them together.
What you don't know is that if you'd gone through the skull cave or canyon, it was actually just like a beautiful meadow.
That's what we joked. We joked about that. We're like, man,
Damn it! It was a false. What was it? It was a false positive.
It was a false. Yeah, it was a false alarm. Yeah. So it was a good album. So check it out. It's soothing. Gypsy guitar is interesting because the gypsy culture comes from northern India, and then they just went and they gathered different elements from around Eastern Europe and also like parts of Central Asia, and then it's pretty much gypsy culture music is a mixture of many different countries. But there's definitely there's like sitar, and then you'll have a lot of like belly dancing music. You'll have tambourines.
Have you seen that show Gypsy Brides?
No.
So there's a show on TLC, the Learning Channel, and it's called Gypsy Brides, and it's basically a bunch of Midwest people that are slightly related to a gypsy bloodline, like Some of them are a lot closer, and some of them are far distant, cousins or whatever.
Yeah.
But they all put on this big gypsy show.
They
type
do belly
thing.
dancing and
Well,
shit?
no, they do we're white trash basically.
White trash gypsies.
Yeah, they're all white trash gypsies. And these people have weddings, and it's just I don't know, they get off on drama, bro. They
Of course they do.
They are a reality TV show, but people play it up more for the cameras.
It's like when they had the episode about the Amish Mafia.
Yes.
Yeah, they did that.
And they have a ton of girls that are 13 going on 20 getting married off and stuff. And it's weird because you're this shouldn't be legal, but in certain states it is. They're marrying off their 14-year-old daughters to men. This is so-and-so's cousin, and his family's good family with our family, so you're going to marry him. And she's like, I'm 13, I don't want to marry this guy. And he's just some drunk that's 22, And they're like, well, we want our families to be wed together, so get over it. And they just
he's got a basic job at the fucking coal mine, and they're like, well, he's got a...
Yeah, he's an alcoholic, pretty much.
He's an alcoholic, just regular working, have a hard job, and he takes pills to get through the pain.
There was literally one episode where they had a 16-year-old getting married to a guy like this who was 23 or 4.
Yep.
And this dude just got blitzed drunk at his wedding. And I mean, falling over, trying to fight the other family members and all sorts of shit. And you're just I get why it happens, because it happens in every fucking race and every culture. There are trashy people. There are fucking shitty people. But man, do they really allow it to happen too? They encourage it to a certain degree. It's 16-year-olds shouldn't be marrying 20-year-old drunks.
There you go.
Yeah, so go check out Gypsy Brides on TLC. It's a crazy show. I'm gonna show Trevor some of it.
Also,
he'll fucking be
just
what?
Check out the soothing gypsy guitar music.
Yes.
I'll put the link. It's very nice. We also I finished my book, folks, after almost 700 pages. The Wheel of Time, Volume 5.
The Fires of Heaven.
It's a good book. It was the Savior's trying to save the world from the end coming, and he ended up having this crazy laser beam magic battle with
Gandalf battle
with this demon. Pretty much, he ends up winning, but people he likes
shall
died.
not pass.
And then they're trying to figure out the next move, and there you go.
Trevor loves this book series.
It's awesome. I read it on the bus or whatnot, and I get it from the library for free, so it's cool.
I wish I could get into a book as much as Trevor does.
I like it. Should.
I just don't like to read.
Let's get into something you can get into, like weed.
Pussy.
Chris's cannabis corner.
Yeah, I killed some
quick?
plants the other day. So I had 6 boys in my tent. I had a total of, what was it? I had a total of 13 plants, so I had to kill almost half of them.
Because they were males.
Because they were boys. You can't grow males with females. I mean, you could, but it just won't do great. You'll produce too many seeds, and the boys will pollinate the girls.
That won't be as good, yeah.
It just will be a worse, product.
Yeah.
But I kind of expected some of this. I didn't expect as many, but it happens. I think the ratio differs sometimes. But that's why I ran as many as I did. I have 6 plants that are ready to go right now, or not ready to go, but they're heading into their flowering stage, all females.
Yeah.
And then I have one female mother that I'm going to keep and cut clones from here in a month or so.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been feeding them. They actually got a little bit more heavy feeding this time around because I had less plants to feed, so I was really able to saturate the pots. But the plants that I did cut, I checked the roots this morning, and the root system was built down to the bottom of the pot, which is exactly what you want. That means your feeding is going all the way down to the bottom. The problem you can have with soil and feeding in pots sometimes is if you don't water enough. If you're afraid to overwater, you're going to have an issue. But if you underwater as well, you'll also have another issue. So it's like finding a happy medium. I think I found that with 4 gallons every couple days. But yeah, the plants are doing fine. They're coming along. They're in their month. They're month and 2 weeks now, so another month and 4 weeks or so. Yeah. You all right, Trevor?
No, I'm good.
You're looking like you're getting nut shot over there.
No, I'm fine.
Trevor doesn't want to hear about my weed plants.
No,
He's
it's
just
fun.
like, give me the product, Chris. Stop talking all
No,
the time.
it's fun.
He doesn't care about
I
the
do.
process.
I like to help out.
He doesn't
This guy
care about
hates-
the process.
Not
He
true.
just
Lies.
wants the
Folks,
herb.
I have also worked on weed farms, legal and illegal. I've done things.
Trevor's like, damn it, I'll get my own tent and I'll show you.
I have other passions at the moment. But I do appreciate it, and I like to help out when I can, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have to drag them out here soon, and we'll do a little bit of cleaning up before they get into their final spot for the rest of the grow. So we'll just take them out and kind of clean up the bottoms of them and create a little better airflow. But they're on track to be probably the biggest plants I've grown so far. And I'm excited because I'm going to have double what I had last time. Instead of 3, I got 6 now, plus a mother. So my clones should come in pretty well. I'm going to be able to probably kill that mother and get 15 to 20 cuts off of it really well. And yeah, we got a bunch of new clones going. All right, well, that's all I got for that.
All right, I got a real quick guitar tip. So I'm changing the strings of my acoustic guitar today.
He's rocking a 3-string look right now.
Yeah, so the first song I did 3 because that's by the time we started 3 strings replaced, but
He messed up a little bit. He put one of them on backwards.
I replaced it. I've been doing this a long time, but shit happens.
We aren't perfect, that's for sure.
So I switched it and got it on, and I also started a little too late. Should have started earlier, but it was a lazy Sunday overall for me.
Right.
So I'm replacing it with some phosphorus bronze, folks, some Diodario, which is company. And I recommend if you're just starting out, maybe do lighter gauge strings because your fingers aren't calloused. I usually use heavy gauge when I can or medium. Works your fingers out. But also make sure when you do this, you have a pair of pliers, a pair of wire cutters that work because you're going to have to cut wires. You're going to have to pull out these... you have to pull out knobs.
Restringing a guitar is a whole thing, man.
It's a thing, but I recommend as soon as your strings are rusted and the tone is really diminished, like professional guitarists generally do it once a month.
Yeah.
But I mean they're playing all the time. I do it about every 3 to 4 months. This time I let it go a little too long. This time it was more like 7, 8 months. But guitar strings definitely affect your tone, so definitely keep an eye on them.
And I think if you don't know how to do it, they'll do it for you at Guitar Center.
Yeah, or find someone that can do it. But definitely with guitar strings or anything, don't leave them outside in the moisture because they're going to rust. It's
The
metal.
temperature will
And the
affect your
temperature, yeah.
guitar strings, especially moisture in the air.
Yeah, when it's really cold out, it's generally going to be flat because, when things are cold, they tend to contract. But
The
when
molecules.
but when things are really hot, they're going to expand. That's why things are going to sound like sharp when it's hot out. I had a moment. I was thinking like, ugh. But yeah, and sometimes it's the reverse. Like it just depends. Sometimes your strings will do something that you don't expect at all. So keep an eye on your strings, folks.
Watch those strings, boy.
Watch them strings. But yeah,
All right, we're getting towards the end here, Trevor. What else do you got?
how to talk Minnesotan.
Oh yeah, we watched a small documentary on, it was like public access, and it was about how to talk Minnesotan if you're a visitor or you're visiting friends or family from Minnesota. And it was pretty awesome. There was a guy that gave you like the whole rundown of their basic dialogue, which is whatever, don't you know, or what was it? Whatever, damn, Trevor, you're leaving me hanging here. What were the other ones?
So you had ones
You
like
Betcha?
you had You Bet, which is a
You Bet.
You Bet is a very like friendly thing. Like I agree with you, but I'm not going to give more than I have to. And then you're going to have whatever's the finale. Like okay,
I thought
whatever.
Trevor would like this because he grew up on a Minnesota farm and stuff.
Yeah, I had family. All my family's from Minnesota. I'm the first one born on the West Coast. But I grew up spending summers out on a tree farm that used to be a hog farm, and we had a giant garden too. And everywhere around us, all of our neighbors were out in the country, they were all doing corn and soy and dairy cow.
That's all anything ever is these days is soy and fucking corn.
And then obviously dairy. But yeah.
Dairy farmers are a lot more scarce though. Same as ranchers.
But my grandfather, he was a farmer, but he also, his main thing was he was a barber. But this was like a very rural barber shop.
Yeah.
Usually right by a farm, and all the old farmers would go there. So I got to see firsthand Minnesota culture to the nth degree.
Yeah.
And like every little thing that they were joking about was true. And it was from the PBS Twin Cities, so it was public education, but it was from the area where my family's from, a little bit south of the Twin Cities.
But they went into like basic interaction with people from Minnesota, like what they might say, and then it kind of went into cuisine, like hot dishes.
Hot dishes are a big thing.
Yeah.
And instead of cookies, dessert bars.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
And then it went into kind of interacting and the long goodbye from Minnesotans.
Yep. So as you try to like keep someone as long as you can
because it's a polite thing to do. I don't agree with that. I think you're stealing time away from
you are stealing time, but there they don't value time as much. They're like,
because everything runs so slowly and coldly. They're like, you don't want to go out there. It's cold. Stay with us. Have a good time. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I want to get the fuck out of here so badly, but it's snowing out. You don't understand. That's how I'd probably be, because I get. Especially me as a person, I am great for about 2 to 2.5, 3 hours. After that, I am usually burnt out on whatever I'm doing. I have a attention span of about an hour to 3 hours, and that's all you get. After whatever I'm doing, I'm usually just like, I want to go smoke weed and relax.
Another big one is I have noticed this. Old, usually farmers and guys that have done the sort of blue collar jobs. They even notice it out here, but when they conversate, they don't look directly at each other. They do turn away.
Standing and staring at a man is too feminine.
It's too weird.
Yeah, you got to stand and stare at a car, or you got to stand and stare at a field.
Yeah. Or like some sort of piece of equipment, or like
you're talking about something.
Yeah, you're talking about the weather or the tractor. You're talking about that big nasty tree root you had to use a tractor to get out.
Oh yeah, you remember James's dog was hit last week by a car. You know that's like the big news going around. The dog got hit by a car.
Ooh, there was a tornado that came through last week. Yeah, you betcha. You know, it's that time of the year. But did you have? But you also went through like a tornado's. Marge's hot dish went right through me. I was on the toilet for 3 hours.
The series Fargo takes place in North Dakota and in Minnesota and in Kansas City. So in particular seasons of Fargo, you get a lot of that Minnesota hard accent.
Canada Light.
And Trevor calls it Canada Light, he says. But he has so much more knowledge on this stuff than me. I thought it was just hilarious because I've heard people make fun of the Midwest and fun of Minnesotans, but it is a real thing. You just have a bunch of white people from Nordic descent that are just different talking. You know,
it's just basic farmers in this.
Yeah, they're just farmers, and they live in a very cold region of the country, and you know that's about it. That's about all they have. You know.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that they aren't.
Polka music's big.
Yeah.
Polka music and country is big out there.
I just wouldn't want to stay in an area where everybody's talking funny constantly. Yeah. The South is like that. You have that a lot in the South, where there's just really thick accents and very in-depth conversation about nothing.
Yeah.
They're talking about the weather, and it's been a 4-hour conversation, and you're just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Or you just talk about the pie that you had last week.
Oh, that was something strange that I got from Florida, because 60 to 70% of Florida is extremely rural. Yeah. There's like the 30 to 40% that is Miami, very populated.
Yeah.
So I lived in the middle. I was kind of in a city that was extremely populated between two bigger cities. But if you went an hour north, an hour or two north, it was a completely different world. Like there was a town that I passed through driving out of Florida that they had 2 streets. There was the one end, and there was the one that went side to side. And on those 2 streets, there was everything.
So you had
There was the
longitude and
gas
latitude,
station-
yeah.
There was the gas station. There was the courthouse. There was the courthouse / sheriff station. There was the
Probably one restaurant, like a
there was
diner.
the post office. There was a restaurant or 2.
Yeah,
and
and a
that was
hotel.
it. And I mean, that was it. So it's so rural that you go through little cities like that and you never would
Towns.
realize it. Yeah. Kids are walking outside, and I mean, they got to be 4 years old, you know, just all hand in hand. You're like, all right, this is a weirder place.
So we could talk about the your idea if you want, real quick. And then
Oh yeah, the Wu-Tang Clan corporate meeting of their names.
yeah.
How the Wu-Tang Clan all got their names.
They're pretty much like the hip hop group Avengers style.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I thought of like when the big record company was trying to sign the Wu-Tang Clan, they were just giving them names. Like they hadn't quite settled on names yet. So the producer goes, this guy here, he's real methodical. He's all about the method, you know? So we're going to call him the Method Man.
METHOD, man.
Exactly. He's like, can you rap about that? And he's like, yeah, they're going to call me Johnny Blaze. And it's like, perfect. And then
Yep.
the next one's like, all right, we're going to call him Raekwon the Chef because he's always serving up lovely dishes and he cooks really well in the kitchen.
Cash
But
rules everything around me. Get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
he also serves up tasty rhymes, you know?
Yes.
And then this guy over in the corner, this guy eating my wife's pussy, he's an old dirty bastard. He looks up from his wife's pussy and he's like,
ooh, shimmy,
Yeah.
y'all, shimmy, yay, won't you take it away?
and then they just go on. RZA, Jizza, You God, you know, Inspector Deck,
Deck.
and
Maradona.
Yeah,
Yep.
and you just go through all of them like little characters. Like each one of them, Ghostface Killer's an actual ghost. You
Yes.
know?
Just like you have the main heroes, and then you have like ones you don't hear about quite as much, but still have a presence, like Ant-Man, for example.
One of the greatest video games that ever came out for PlayStation was the Wu-Tang Clan video game.
Yeah.
And it had all the characters from the Wu-Tang Clan.
I did
and
get
they
to play at
all-
a friend's house. It
They
was sick.
all had different
Yeah.
fighting styles, basically. And man, I still remember that game to this day. I love it.
Oh, I see you're from Shaolin, your Wu-Tang style.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I love that concept that a corporation was just sitting down trying to make a rap supergroup, and they're like, we're gonna give them all wacky names. You know?
There actually was a Dave Chappelle sketch about Wu-Tang Financial Services, and
Yes.
the guys from Wu-Tang,
Yeah.
they were like financial advisors.
He's like, konnichiwa, bitches.
yeah.
All right, folks, we're getting ready to wrap this one up. Trevor's looking for a guitar pick,
I have so many picks.
and he's gonna play a tasty little lick before we go.
I guess I'm
But-
going to use a jazz pick, change it up a little
All
bit.
right, yeah, but we just got Trevor just got 2 episodes uploaded today.
Three. I got
Three of
three.
them. So go ahead and check out Two Lonely Boys
We're
and
up to
a Canoe
56 now.
podcast. We're currently up to date. We're working on some new shit. We gotta still get a fucking editor, and if anybody out there knows an editor or like
Email us.
a media person, yeah,
Email
please
us.
email us or send us a message. So we need somebody to help us make this multimedia. But other than
Yeah,
that,
email T. Ahlstrom, TAHLSTROM.
definitely boycott Trevor.
Gmail.com.
Boycott Trevor.
Here we
All
go.
right, you ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Later, everybody.
All right. See you guys later.